guess what? You're home. Welcome home. Welcome to the Success Uncensored TV show and podcast, where we're going to help you, do it well, and do it consistently. I'm your girl, host, Dr. Keita Joy, CEO of Success Uncensored Coaching, where we maximize the greatest potential of leaders, athletes, and influencers all over the nation, and help with team development skills. And guess what? Now you all have a safe space to connect with me and my dear friends and really talk about what it takes to have real success. You know, it can get hard at times, and we really want to have a space where we can give you guys the tools, the wisdom, and the nuggets to be your best self. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, let's get to it. Hey everybody, oh my gosh, we're back again. And this time I brought another friend with me to the Success Uncensored home. This our spot, okay? And I don't just let anybody hang out with us, just to be clear. I'm bringing the biggest, the baddest, the dopest, and really the most authentically successful people to our home. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Josh Mora, who is the Executive Director of Strategic Partnerships for Full Sail University. What's going on, Josh?
I'm thrilled to be among the biggest and the baddest and the dopest. I'm not sure that has ever happened before, but today I'll take it.
You're in it.
I'm in it now.
Okay.
Right.
You're a part
Absolutely.
of it. Well, I'm so glad that you took time to stop by and
Absolutely.
hang out with us.
Of course.
The reason why I had you here is just because not only are you so accomplished, and you're going to hear about just how accomplished he is, but I just feel like you're extremely authentic. You really believe in what you do for students and for sports and for media. Like, you can tell you're really passionate about it. It's not just a check. And I meet people where you can clearly see you're doing this for the money. And this is, hey, judge-free zone, you know what I'm saying? However, real fulfillment comes from that space inside where you're like, no, this has purpose, this has value, this has meaning. So kind of take us a walk. I know you weren't always executive of strategic partnerships for Full Sail University. So kind of, how'd you get here, Josh?
You know what? And to add to that, the journey to authenticity, and we all have it within us, but it's work to get there, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that we learn from the time we're little, up until some time where we have that moment of awareness. I grew up in Chicago. I played hockey in college. That's a value thing for me. I learned a lot of lessons about, I think one of our topics today, which is resiliency through a game like that, which is incredibly frustrating. I had a 17-year career as a sportscaster.
17, so you're not 21.
Years. I started at age 3.
There we go. Problem solved.
But yeah, no. So I covered a lot of baseball, a lot of football, a lot of hockey in upstate New York and Buffalo with the Bills and the Sabres, and then Chicago with mostly the Cubs and the Blackhawks and a little bit the Bears. And then I came to Full Sail University 11 years ago. I have started a couple of different initiatives there, including our sports marketing and media program, which I ran for about 5 years. Then our relationship with ESPN, our relationship with WWE, the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, our relationship in esports and what we've built out there, which is a new area, not a new area in terms of our student population. We've always had a gaming culture, but we now have varsity teams, and we have the largest esports arena on a college campus anywhere in the country, and a great partner there with Orlando Health. And so, we're excited about what we've built there. And I look back at different aspects of my career, and I'm very pleased with what I've been able to do, and I'm really pleased with what's out there still in front of me.
See, I like that, right? Limitless possibilities.
Absolutely.
Now, the broadcasting aspect, that's what you started with early on, and a big part of success is fulfillment. So what was it about broadcasting that caught your eye where you felt like, wow, this really aligns with my personality, the things that I love?
That's a really good question, because a lot of people get into broadcasting because they want the attention, or they want to be on TV and they think that gives them some kind of validation.
Right.
And that was never really my motivation. I'm sure there was something in me that wanted to be validated externally, but I really liked telling the stories. My most proud moments were when I knew I'd gotten the story right, whether it was a game summary reporting after a game, or whether it was just a short lead into an anchor set or a highlight package, or telling a great feature story. I remember one story that I did was about, it was going to be a silly little story. It was the annual Chicago Police versus Chicago Fire Department hockey game. Well, the day before the game, which they played at the United Center, right, where the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Blackhawks play. So you just get a big crowd for that. Well, the day before, a firefighter had been killed in a car accident. The truck was on its way to a scene that turned out to be a false alarm and hit a car. So it suddenly had all this emotion around the game. And it changed it from being about a game where there was a fun rivalry between different civic departments. It really became about a testament to this guy who was not a player, but everybody had a connection. They'd lost a brother, and so there was that moment. And knowing that I'd gotten that story right, when I got letters from people in the police department who hadn't been there, the police department, right, and there was a firefighter who'd lost his life, or from the firemen themselves, that just felt really good. It wasn't overly sappy. It was just, this was what they were feeling that day. Those were the moments that gave me the most. That gave me the most satisfaction.
I love it. You made me think about even from my own journey. So I don't look like it, you guys, but I used to be an elementary school teacher. Crazy, okay? And definitely not going back to that, just because that was definitely a season of my life. Sure. But one of the things I realized was that I have the gift of teaching. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily I have to be in a particular career, but whatever I'm in, I have to be in a space where I'm utilizing that gift of teaching, because that's what I'm really good at. And a lot of people get caught up in a particular job title rather than, wait, these are my skills. Like, this is my juice, that's my sauce. Where can I go where I can take that and use that in different spaces? And so with the storytelling, so after broadcasting, do you feel like now you still use that? Definitely now with the podcast. He is.
I do, because I think you hit on something there. We tend to get caught up in the titles of what it is that we do, or the day-to-day functions. But if you're really true to what your skill set is and what you like to do, right? Not only what you bring to a situation, what you get out of a situation, it makes you better at what you do. And you can package them in a lot of different ways. So a lot of the things that made me successful as a sportscaster, it's the same set of skills that I can use now in building partnerships and relationships and finding that moment of convergence where everybody is happy. And what we tell our students at Full Sail is, or I tell my students, the students that I used to supervise at Full Sail, is you can take the flour, sugar, butter, and eggs, and you make pancakes. Or you can change up the ingredients a little bit, change up the amounts, take those same ingredients and make cookies.
Hey.
Right? So you can just apply yourself in a different way. You don't necessarily have to be on a linear track to whatever you think the expectation is of your career.
And so with that takes courage to do that. It takes courage to say, you know what, I'm going to step out and I'm going to embark on a new career. And it seems like you also did that as well. You seem very courageous to me, to do broadcasting and then to get into working with Full Sail, with business partnerships. What do you kind of rely on to say, you know what, I'm going to muster up enough courage and embark on this new venture, this new business partnership? Like, what gives you that strength and courage to be able to do that, to talk to people you've never talked to before, to work on big $6 million deals that you've never maybe embarked on before? What gives you that courage and gusto to do that?
I'm not sure I've ever thought about it in that terms. I've never tried to really understand where that is, but I have listened to a lot of different people, right? Or I felt there are certain messages that resonate with me. One of them is that I just don't believe that there's such a thing as failure. We can fall short of
someone listening right now is like, yes, there is.
Well, here's why there isn't. There you can fail to reach expectations. I believe that expectations are different from objectives. But if you expect that something is going to happen, it's kind of a premeditated reason for resentment when you don't get there. But if you have objectives and you don't reach all of them, you can be satisfied in the ones that you did reach. And then you can step back and say, well, why didn't I reach those others? Turn the coming up short, the quote-unquote failure, and again, I don't believe that it's failure, into a learning opportunity. right? There's the next one, right? And this is silly. It's a lesson from hockey of all things, right? You know, in hockey, which is a very frustrating game. You know, it's fast. People are trying to knock you on your behind. Scoring a goal is very difficult. You know, you're going to give up a goal. Well, and you give up a goal. All right, go get the next one. That's the message always. When you score a goal, all right, you celebrate it. Now go get the next one.
Right.
There's always a next one. So be satisfied. Celebrate your achievement. If something falls short, try to assess where it fell short, but go get the next one.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I think a testament to your success is in your perspective, like how you view life, you know, and you know how they talk about how your perception is truly your reality. So if you believe that I'm not failing, I'm learning, then that's exactly what you're going to end up doing. It's just learning lessons and growing. And that's the whole fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And so my son is 10 years old, smart as I don't know what. The boy can make A's in his sleep, child. But with that, can struggle with having a growth mindset. So as soon as something doesn't come easy to him, he's willing to give up. He thinks something's wrong with him. He thinks he's failed. But really, like what you're saying, it's an opportunity to grow and to be better, right?
Exactly. I mean, that we have to embrace the opportunity to grow and to be able to step back and look at what the universe is presenting. Because we, you know, as humans, and especially as, you know, Western Civ humans, we think that things should go in a certain way. We think that things should progress.
And right now.
Yeah, right now.
This moment.
Right. If it isn't happening right now, and it's that it's linear. It isn't always linear. We grow by stepping back. We grow by assessing. We grow by saying, okay, why didn't that happen? I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do to make that happen. It didn't happen. Well, why not? You know, I think it's being able to step back and say.
Have you had anything in your life like that where you felt like I did all the necessary steps? Because you're really speaking to a lot of people listening to this who I've gone through that too. I did everything. I'm literally going through something like that. I did everything. I should get this, and it didn't work out. Like, how do you handle that?
You know, I'm going to say something that's going to sound like it's going to sound braggadocious, but I really do say it with humility. As a broadcaster, I was really good at what I did. I told good stories.
Yes.
I was. I may have a face for radio, but besides that, I was good at what I did, and I got to a really large market. I spent 5 years in the number 3 market in the country.
Come on.
Yeah, so that was. I'm really proud of that. And then I had done everything the right way in my mind. I had built relationships. I had embedded with a couple of teams so that I had great relationships. And then in 2009, my contract came up. It's the middle of the recession, you know, and you know I was the guy in the crosshairs when there were budget cuts. You know, could I have done a few other things to cement, you know, my stature there? Maybe. Could I have taken a pay cut and stayed? Maybe. At the time, that wasn't the thing that felt authentic to me. The thing that felt authentic to me was, no, the universe is telling you it's time to move on. You've outgrown this. So, you know, there wasn't a case where, you know, if things had come up a different way, maybe I would have been able to continue in that regard. But I can also tell you this: I don't look back on that with one moment of regret.
Right.
I did at one point, but I think I've been able to put that behind me to say this is more fulfilling to me now. And I'm really thrilled with where I am.
I love that. You're really thrilled with where you are. So that speaks to contentment. I think I've met a lot of people, especially high achievers. It's in us, our innate mindset to want more, to strive for more, to want to be excellent, because we do realize our abilities. And we're like, man, I can do this, I can do that, I can do all of these different things. But within that, you also have to make sure that you're content with the journey and where you are today. And I've noticed with people that can be difficult at times. How do I want more but still be content with where I am today? How do you balance that?
Well, I think the first thing is understanding where contentment comes from. It has to come from inside. It has to come. If you're listening to this, it has to come from in here. I'm pointing to my sternum. But it does. Nobody else is going to be able to dictate what makes you happy. Not your spouse, not your parents, not your children, none of it. It's got to come from you. And you've got to be able to listen to that voice. And I think everybody will sometimes ask themselves the question, well, if they're seriously taking that introspectively, am I content? Am I happy? And it's okay to be asking that question.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to fulfill, you're not going to be able to control what somebody else thinks or what somebody else believes. So that's why it has to come from inside. And so it really takes being in a quiet space. I'm a huge believer in meditation because that's how we get in touch with our authentic selves.
Yes, and have that self-awareness that you're speaking to, that deep sense of self-awareness.
Correct, and awareness in general, too. Self-awareness, which is part of that, being able to be in the present moment, right?
Yes.
That's the only thing that matters.
That matters, because that's all you have.
That's all you have. Our cells are at a cellular level, we're always evolving.
Like all we have right now
That's right.
is this moment, this Success Uncensored podcast, this connection that we're having with one another. That is good. So if any of you are struggling with wanting more but still enjoying where you are now, be present. Practice meditation practices. I use the Calm app. That helps me out a lot. I don't know if you've heard of that app.
Of course, yeah.
I'm sure, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones out there.
And
Calm is one of them.
And I'm like on the baby steps with meditation. So my brain can do about 10 minutes. I can be still for 10 and then slowly work myself up to it. I love it. Do you have any other, because part of the Success Uncensored formula is do it well, do it consistently. And I think meditation is also one of those doing it well habits. It helps you to be your best self. Do you have any other really awesome habits that help you as a businessman and just a person in general?
I think you're right. I mean, having a routine, being able to stay with it, as consistently as possible is really important. So it's meditation. Journaling.
A man who journals.
Absolutely.
You hear that? Because a lot of times guys think that's like a girl thing. I just got my husband, I want to say the past 3 years, he's kind of getting into the journal game. So I like that. Meditation, journaling. You got that? There's
a daily planner I have that asks certain questions. So it sets you up for your day. It's a calendar, right? So it's got your planner, so you can put in your appointments and your meetings for the day.
Okay.
And it also asks you questions. One thing I can look forward to today. One thing that might stress me out today. Things that I can do today that are outside of my comfort zone. It's in the left column every day. And then in the right column at the end of the day, there's a shorter version where you say something great that happened to me today. And then every couple of weeks in this planner, it asks you to assess a few other things as well, both on a numerical scale. It takes it is a 10-minute thing every morning, and it's 5 minutes every night. And creating that time, it's helped me figure out what's essential in every day. Being here in this podcast, being able to talk about authenticity and resiliency, that's essential today.
Yeah.
And having those things,
and help you be intentional.
Yes.
Very intentional.
Yes. Intentional, present, focused.
Yes.
All of those things.
Yeah.
And the journey, for me through career, through divorce, through all of those things has helped me find, to shed a lot of the things that I think were unhealthy. And I feel like today, I'm at my mentally healthiest that I've probably ever been. And I'm extremely grateful for that.
And we're grateful. We've got him at his best at the Success Uncensored podcast. You shared so many gems and insight. And I love it because the things that you shared, it's whether you're a businessman or just wanting to be a great family man or just wanting to be a great man or woman in general, to be your best self, the things that you shared, they can go forward and take that and be better. So I appreciate that.
I think too, there's so much negative energy in the universe right now. There's so many people who are frustrated and who are struggling, etc. And you can try to argue with that. That only adds more fuel to the negative energy. The only way we overcome that as a race, right? As a human race, is by injecting love and positive energy into it. So if there's one person who's listening to this today or watching this today that is able to take one nugget out of this, that's a huge victory, and I'd feel incredibly fulfilled by that.
Ooh, there goes that word again for success, fulfillment. Y'all hear you're not hearing, oh yeah, once I get another $1 million, $1,000. Every time you hear success, it's linked with fulfillment. I just want you guys to peep that, understand, because sometimes you're wondering why you're so miserable or not happy, and it's because you're looking in the wrong places to seek fulfillment.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, money can be part of fulfillment, or what,
it helps
or whatever
you to do
it might
the
be.
things
It does.
that
Certainly
matter.
It does. But you're not if you're externally motivated as opposed to intrinsically motivated, it's never going. If you make $1 million, if that you think that's going to be, well, then you're going to need 5 or whatever else it might be. And one of the, I think, ironic things about the energy of the universe is that it's when you get fulfilled intrinsically that the other stuff comes.
You see, I had to open my arms when you said that. That is the abundant mindset.
That's right.
That is exactly what happens. That's that reciprocity, law of, of attraction.
That's correct.
So let's play a little game before you leave today. So with Success Uncensored, you've got the formula, do you, do it well, and you remember the third one?
Do it consistently.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
I'm a devotee.
Hey. So with this, for each one, do you stands for like your values, your beliefs, the things that matter to you. Do it well, things that you do to remain excellent. And consistently is what motivates you to keep going. Just one word for each one. So when you think of do you, what is something that matches that for you? What's a value, a belief system? Do it well. Give me one habit of excellence. Do it consistently. One thing that motivates you.
So do you, I would say, show up. Just be there.
Does he know me? That's like one of my phrases right there. You in my head. I love it.
Do it well, I would add, show up intentionally. Show up with intention. Be prepared for that, for what it means to show up. And often that means, just being there to listen. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be actively, contributing. I think of that especially with kids. I have, a 20-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old daughter. And they're not, you might find this hard to believe, but 17 and 20-year-old girls, young women, are not that easy for a father to communicate with.
Not even at 8 years old.
So,
my husband.
Just to be there, right? Just to show up and listen to what's going on and not necessarily offer any advice, right? So show up with intention and awareness, and consistently show up all the time, right? Make that good habit to show up and to be present and be in that moment with whomever it is, whether it's.
What if you're tired, Josh? What if you're tired? What if you had a long, because it's real stuff. What if you had a super long day of work and then but your 17-year-old daughter had a really bad day, wants to talk to you, and you really don't feel like it, and you really want to table it for another day, you're just not into it, but she really needs you. What do you do to kind of get yourself in that mindset to be there for her?
You do the best you can, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if they need you, and don't beat yourself up if the best you can in that moment is not your very, very best.
That's good.
And to be transparent. I mean, sometimes I have to, you have to say, honey, I hear you. I can't address that right now. You're not going to get my best advice, my best thoughts. And usually they might be mad in the moment, but they'll understand that. And they'll appreciate when you can get back to them. Or if you say, I need to think about that when I can think in a more clear way.
That's honesty.
Honesty, yeah.
And communication.
Yeah, honesty and communication.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge believer in that people, if you can tell people where you are, they'll work with that. Most people work with that. If they can't, it's on them, it's not on you.
That's good.
And if you can't, and that sometimes saying I'm sorry, again, most people will accept that. And if they can't, that's on them and not on you.
He gets
well, that's... I'm not touching that.
He's like, sorry, now I need some action too, But that's
sorry has to be sincere, though.
Right,
It has to be
and
meaningful.
That's the
sincerity
you have to really
behind
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that those are. If somebody says I'm sorry to me, if they can't show up or they've disappointed me in some way, I can work with that for sure.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge thing in my book.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. I mean, Josh didn't come to play with you guys today. I hope you guys had your notepad out and were writing things down. Thank you. How can people continue to get in contact with you and the great work that you do at Full Sail University?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here. I'm really thrilled that we've become friends and that this is great, and that I get to be a part of this. So Full Sail University, it's a university of about 21,000 students in Central Florida. About a third of our students are on campus. The rest are online. 85 different degree programs, mostly aimed towards entertainment, media, music production, gaming, sports, etc. Fullsail.edu is our website. You can find out more there. And if you're interested in partnering with Full Sail, I'm JMORA at fullsail.com, and happy to talk to anybody who wants to participate and help. I think, take some of the things that we're talking about here.
Right.
A lot of these things are things that I've learned from the executive leadership at Full Sail, and help infuse those in our students, our graduates, and get them out there into the entertainment industry.
Powerful.
Thank you.
Powerful, Josh. Thank you for coming on the Success Uncensored podcast TV show. We appreciate it, and we want you to know, I'm telling them for you, okay? We want you to come back. This is now your home.
Thank you.
Deal?
Thank you. Absolutely. This is a wonderful home. It's a great studio.
Fist bump.
Blow it up.
Oh, we gotta do that again. We gotta do that one more time. Ready?
Boom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keita.
What time is it? It's time for Dr. Keita Joy's Keys to Joy, your very own motivational minute. And I want to talk to you today about knowing your worth. I don't know about you, but I've had things that have happened in my life that made me second guess my existence, my sauce, my swag. Made me really second guess who I was as a powerful woman. Those heartbreaks from them bad boyfriends that I had, made me second guess my worth. When I didn't get that job that I wanted, when I didn't receive the promotion that I thought I deserved, those things made me second guess my worth. But guess what? You know what helped me stay focused and remember who I am? Focusing on my skills, focusing on my talents, and focusing on my purpose. When you remember really who you are and what you're made of, you're going to see your confidence increase no matter what is going on around you. That's your motivational minute. Yay! You could have been anywhere in the world, okay? Anywhere. Even another YouTube channel somewhere, but you said, you know what? I want to be here with my Success Uncensored family, and I thank you for that. We've grown together. I've grown being with you at this time. So what I want you to do so you can continue growing, being your best self, is remember to follow my Success Uncensored formula. And do you, do it well, and do it consistently. And in order to do that, guess what you got to do? You got to get on out there and make sure that you've subscribed to this podcast so you can continue to get all of the Success Uncensored wisdom that you need. And then head on over to my website, successuncensored.com, where you can purchase my book, A High Achiever's Guide to Define Success on Your Own Terms. You don't want to miss it. So good, okay? So good. And then if you want to continue hanging out with me, because you're like, oh my gosh, girl, I love hanging out with you. I love your energy, your smile, your laughter, everything. Head on over to all the different social media platforms at the Dr. Keita Joy or Success Uncensored. Until next time, do you.